Safardila, what are you doing?
Brazil, the giant of motorsports and culture. Brazil is the largest country in South America, known for its cultural diversity, natural beauty, and passion for sport, especially motor racing and football. With a population of over 200 million people, the country has a rich mix of indigenous, African, and European influences reflected in its music, cuisine, and festivities, such as the famous carnival. The Brazilian economy is one of the largest in the world, driven by sectors such as agribusiness, industry, and technology. Furthermore, Brazil is home to the largest tropical forest on the planet, the Amazon, a true ecological treasure. In motorsports, Brazil has a long tradition of success, being the birthplace of 3 Formula One world champions, Ayrton Senna, Nelson Piquet, and Emerson Fittipaldi. With iconic circuits such as Interlagos, Curitiba, and Goiânia, the country has always been an important destination for several international categories, including Formula One, Stock Car Brazil, and WTCC. Brazilian hospitality, combined with the vibrant energy of its fans, makes Brazil an unforgettable stage for any sporting event. Whether it's football, motor racing, or any other sport, one thing is certain: Brazilian passion always makes the difference. Welcome to our broadcast, exclusively here on the Sim Buddies channel. We're about to start the second race of the WTCC Championship. Today, I have a special guest with me, my friend, the Brazilian Evanilson. How are you, Evanilson? Ready for today's race?
Yes, ready and excited, especially since the start with a reverse grid. This will make it more difficult for the faster drivers to reach the front in the standings.
That's right. It will be an unpredictable race. We have the start with Ruben Tomás in first place, Andre Felipe in second, Julian Coinet in third, Miguel Rodriguez in fourth, and completing the top 5, Frederic Audier. João Fidalgo starts in sixth, Fernando Fonseca in seventh, Ricardo Fregoso in eighth, Nathan Vexler in ninth, and finally, Carlos Diaz in 10th. Evanilson, can you give me your prediction for the race?
Well, based on the results of the first race, I believe we will see a great battle between Ruben and Andre Felipe. Then we have the French duo, who I think will be fighting among themselves, along with Miguel Rodriguez for 6th, 7th, and 8th place, with a slight advantage for Audier being the faster one today.
And what about the other 5?
As for the other 5, everything will depend on the first few laps. Whoever manages to break away from the pack early will have more space on the track and, consequently, will be faster.
You're absolutely right. The race has started. Let's head into the first corner. João Fidalgo had a great start and has already moved up to 4th place. There was contact between Audier and Miguel Rodriguez, and both went off the track. Ruben is pulling away and maintaining the lead. And now we can see what happened between the 2 drivers. What's your judgment, Evanilson?
You know, the first corner is always tricky, and drivers need to be more careful. In this case, I think Miguel Rodriguez misjudged the front of his Peugeot and ended up making slight contact with Audier. These are racing incidents. The fact is that both lost positions.
João Fidalgo is already in 3rd place. What a start. Vexler has also moved up to the middle of the grid, and Julian is in 4th. Andre Felipe is losing time in the slowest corner of the circuit, and Fidalgo is closing in. Julian tries to dive inside Fidalgo, but Fidalgo shuts the door, forcing Julian to brake. Fernando Fonseca takes advantage and closes in on the Volvo. As we approach the final corner of the first lap, Fidalgo goes in and secures the inside line, while Andre Felipe takes a very wide line and loses 2nd place. Further back, Julian takes the final corner very wide as well, allowing Fonseca to overtake the French driver. Ruben starts the 2nd lap in 1st place. João Fidalgo is in 2nd, Andre Felipe in 3rd, Fernando Fonseca in 4th. Side by side, Julian Coinet and Vexler fighting for 5th place. Ricardo Fregoso is in 7th, Carlos Diaz in 8th, Miguel Rodriguez in 9th, and Audier in 10th. Julian doesn't let Vexler take the corner, resulting in a slight contact. The race goes on. João Fidalgo moves to the inside line, putting pressure on Ruben Tomás. Right behind, Fernando Fonseca tries to overtake Andre Felipe and move up to 3rd place. Ruben eventually goes off the track. Fidalgo moves into 1st place. Fernando Fonseca takes 3rd, and Julian and Vexler tries to steal 4th place from Andre Felipe. And now, what can we expect? Evanilson?
Look, it's been a great race so far. We're only on the second lap, and we've already seen plenty of overtakes. I think Fidalgo has done the hardest part. If he maintains his usual fast pace, he'll pull away at the front, having the track all to himself. Julian Coined is also having a strong race. I believe Vexler will put a lot of pressure on him. I'm a bit surprised by the Sim Buddies team. Both Ricardo Fregoso and Carlos Diaz haven't really attacked the track yet, and I'm sure they won't be happy with their current positions. Finally, nothing is lost yet, but Miguel Rodriguez and Audier have a tough task ahead of them.
Wow, huge crash. Andre Felipe understeers straight into the safety barriers.
What happened to Andre Felipe was that he had been oversteering into the corners for some time, putting excessive strain on his tires. This caused them to overheat, and eventually, he suffered a puncture. He was having a strong race.
And another incident has just happened. I didn't quite catch that. Let's review it to understand what happened.
What just happened here was that Miguel Rodriguez was catching the slipstream of Ricardo Fregoso and tried to brake a little later than usual to get closer. However, when Ricardo Fregoso braked, Miguel didn't react in time and ended up hitting the rear of the BMW. I believe this incident highlights the driver's inexperience, as this is only his second race. Nevertheless, I expect there will be a penalty for this action.
Back at the front, Joao Fidalgo continues to pull away. Fernando Fonseca holds second place, and Ruben Tomás is defending third position. Julian is in fourth, with Vexler in fifth, right on the heels of the French driver. Miguel Rodriguez is quicker to rejoin the track and manages to stay ahead of Ricardo Fregoso. Another battle ahead for Ricardo.
I believe Ricardo will find the space to pass Miguel. It's just a matter of time.
Wow, a slight touch to the rear of Miguel, but he keeps going. Race on. Ricardo has just overtaken the Peugeot, and the fourth lap begins. Now we have a three-wide battle between Vexler, his inside line Julian in the middle, and Ruben in the outside line. They are approaching the first corner. Who will come out on top in this battle?
Vexler is being very smart here. He nails the entry into the corner without giving much space for the other two to make a clean turn. Julian misses the apex, and Ruben takes full advantage. What an incredible race we're witnessing.
Meanwhile, Carlos Diaz is closing in on the pack. So far, he has been gaining positions by capitalizing on his rivals' mistakes and misfortunes. However, if he wants to reach at least third place, he needs to be more aggressive and start attacking. Another battle. Now Julian takes the inside line. Ruben is on the outside, and Carlos Diaz is closing in from behind. Carlos Diaz is using the entire track, swinging wide on entry and cutting inside. They exit the corner three wide. Now they're heading into a very fast S section. Who will come out on top? Carlos Diaz holds his line and, right on the limit, cuts inside. What a great overtake. Julian keeps his car in the center of the track, setting himself up for a better entry into the final part of the S section. Meanwhile, Ruben is forced to brake to keep his car on track, losing 2 positions in the process.
Yes, that was an excellent move by Carlos Diaz. But it might be too late. Fidalgo already has a comfortable lead, and Carlos still has 2 more battles to fight before reaching first place. I think things aren't in his favor this race. He took too long to climb up to the middle of the pack.
I'm not saying first place, but I do believe in a podium finish. Fernando Fonseca and Vexler could start battling at any moment, and Carlos might be able to take advantage of that. And now Ruben brakes too late and loses the battle to Julian. This corner has been his biggest challenge. Carlos Diaz runs very wide and almost loses control. And now, the battle begins between Fonseca, Vexler, and Carlos Diaz.
Now we're talking about 3 experienced drivers. Fernando Fonseca has competed in 7 seasons of the Sim Buddies Championships. His track record includes a second-place finish in the Alpha Championship and 2 third-place finishes, one in the BTCC 90 and another in the DTM 2000. Nathan Vexler, now in his 3rd season, has a promising track record. In his debut season, he secured 5th place overall in the BTCC 90 and reached 4th place in the DTM 2000. Clearly, he has been improving with each season. Carlos Diaz, the most decorated driver in the community, boasts an impressive track record with 6 championship titles to his name. He has claimed victory in the Alpha Championship, Porsche Cup, Lotus Trophy, Ferrari Trophy, WTCC 90, and DTM 2000.
What do you think is going to happen here?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Carlos hasn't been very aggressive. Wexler has already shown moments of being faster than Fonseca, and Fonseca has proven that he knows how to defend well. This could go in any direction.
Carlos Diaz takes the inside line and might have the gap to overtake Wexler, and that's exactly what he does. Now Fonseca has to defend his second place. And he does it again. Carlos Diaz takes the inside line, leaving no space for Fonseca. He could start the 7th lap in second place. With this, Wexler closes in and re-enters the fight. Things are getting even more complicated for Fonseca. Carlos is pulling away, leaving the battle between the Portuguese and the Israeli. Ouch! Wexler takes a big risk, locking up his wheels heavily. He manages to regain control, and the battle continues. Further back, Ricardo Fregoso engages in a battle with Audier, looking to improve his position. And we're on the final lap. João Fidalgo leads comfortably with a solid advantage. Carlos Diaz is pushing to the limit, trying to catch Fidalgo, though the gap remains significant. In third place, Fernando Fonseca is fighting hard to defend his position, with Nathan Wexler right behind, searching for an opening to grab the final podium spot. Julian Koenig, in fifth, still has one more lap to defend his position. Further back, Ricardo Fregoso has just overtaken Audier, moving into sixth place, while Audier drops to seventh. Ruben Tomás is in ninth, and Andre Felipe is just trying to make it to the finish line to secure some points. Ricardo Fregoso is having a strong finish to the race, getting very close to Julian. There's a slight contact between Fernando Fonseca and Wexler, but nothing major. The battle continues. Meanwhile, Ricardo Fregoso overtakes Julian and secures fifth place. We head into the final corner of the race. Carlos Diaz is very close to Fidalgo. Fidalgo defends the inside line, forcing Carlos to go around the outside. Carlos Diaz gets the better exit and sets himself up for his second victory. João Fidalgo loses the lead in the final corner and has to settle for second place. What a dramatic finish. In the battle for third place, Wexler takes the inside line, while Fonseca goes around the outside. They are side by side. Who will take the final podium spot? Fernando Fonseca secures third place, holding off Wexler, who finishes in fourth. What a battle to the very end. Now, let's take a closer look at Carlos Diaz's fastest lap. Carlos Diaz, winner with a brilliant last lap overtake. Joao Fidalgo finishes second after leading most of the race. Fernando Fonseca secures the final podium spot in a tough battle. 4 Nathan Vexler, 5 Ricardo Fregoso, 6 Julian Koenig, 7 Audier, 8 Miguel Rodriguez, 9 Ruben Tomas, 10 Andre Felipe. What did you think of the race?
Carlos Diaz shines on the first day and takes the championship lead. The first day of racing brought thrills, intense battles, and dramatic twists, with Carlos Diaz emerging as the standout driver. The most decorated driver in the community won both races, securing the top spot in the standings and proving why he's one of the strongest contenders in the championship. Despite losing the lead in the final corner of race 2, Joao Fidalgo showed remarkable consistency, securing 2 second-place finishes and accumulating 32 points, the same as Nathan Vexler, who also had an excellent performance, finishing 4th in the second race and establishing himself as a serious title contender. Another driver who impressed was Fernando Fonseca, who secured a podium finish in race 2, ending the day with 31 points, just one behind Fidalgo and Vexler, keeping himself well in the title fight. Ricardo Fregoso, meanwhile, showed great determination, climbing through the field and finishing the day in 5th place overall, with 28 points and 1 third-place finish. In the midfield, Audier secured 18 points, placing him in 6th, followed closely by Julian Koenig, who, despite losing some positions, scored 17 points. Miguel Rodriguez in 8th collected 14 points, while Ruben Tomas and Andre Felipe completed the top 10, tied with 9 points each.
The Sim Buddies team leads the standings with a dominant 80 points, while Baguette Racing team follows. NV Racing and Audi team are tied in 3rd, showing strong performances. Meanwhile, BBC2U sits in 5th with 41 points, and Azores Tem Asso holds 6th place. At the bottom, Chevy Sports and PDM Performance are tied for 7th with 9 points each. The team championship is shaping up to be an exciting battle. Thank you for joining us for this incredible day of racing. We'll be back next Sunday for more action-packed battles on the track. See you next week.